Hello friends, welcome to the King YouTube channel. There's some buzz around Meghan Markle with reports claiming that staff members are leaving because they find her difficult to work with. It seems like her recent trip to Colombia has turned into a PR nightmare, which some say is just what she deserves. According to recent news, people are leaving because of Meghan's unruly behavior. The fact that they're in Colombia and possibly being used as political tools to distract from government scandals isn't helping either. Reliable sources like News Nation and The Scoop have just reported that Meghan Markle's staff is quitting. Even Josh Kettler, the chief of staff, resigned last week, shocking everyone. Since moving to the US, the couple's organization RQL has lost 9 staff members. That's quite a lot for a charity that's supposed to be family friendly and focused on humanitarian efforts. What's your opinion on Harry and Meghan's RQL charity? Have you ever donated to it? If you have, comment one. If not, let us know why. Please share your thoughts. Comment 2 if you're wondering why this is happening and what's really going on. Why is there so much turnover? A source who worked closely with the couple mentioned that Meghan is incredibly difficult to work with. She's described as condescending and often talks down to people. The Daily Beast shared a story from a photographer who covered their wedding. He recalled being thrilled to be invited and having the chance to set up mood boards at Kensington Palace. But when Meghan walked in, she took one look at what he had prepared, shouted no in the harshest tone, spun around, and stormed out. It was so upsetting that it brought him to tears. A florist also claimed in the Daily Beast that Meghan harassed them after they posted a simple message on social media asking for flowers for a bouquet she wanted. The experience was so bad that the florist refused to work with Meghan again. Despite her status, Meghan acts as if she's naturally refined, but true nobility wouldn't treat their employees this way. According to my sources, I completely agree with these accounts. Meghan's former employees are always welcome to share their experiences. I'm not here to burn bridges, and I won't reveal any names. If you have more insights, feel free to reach out. I'm constantly learning more to understand this story fully. This trip to Colombia seems to be a significant part of the reason for all this turmoil. I can't help but wonder why Josh left, especially given their quasi-royal journey to Colombia, a country that was relatively safe until recently. However, it's now plagued by drug violence and kidnappings. I've done my research, and the risk of violent crime and terrorism still makes it a very dangerous place to visit, which is particularly concerning given Meghan's past safety concerns. What's even more curious is that Colombia is now considered safe for them to visit, but they couldn't go to the UK before due to safety concerns. After their ill-advised trip to Nigeria, where they met with Dr. Allen, a dignitary under federal indictment for bank fraud and other serious charges, it raises more questions. Despite his questionable background, they seem to get along well with him. According to the Daily Beast, the chief of defense coordinated this trip for the couple. So they're heading to Nigeria, right? Well, let's see how Colombia handles this. Marcus, the vice president, welcomed them to various events, including a forum on cyberbullying. They're also set to meet students studying the digital world and its impacts at a local school. Plus, they'll attend a seminar on secure digital environments hosted by Colombia's vice president, alongside Harry and Meghan's RQL Foundation. But here's the problem: this trip seems absurd. According to a national security contributor at News Nation, our State Department advises against traveling to Colombia due to crime, terrorism, and kidnapping risks. And it's worth noting that Nigeria, where they recently visited, has a similar warning, though it's not at the highest alert level. There are real concerns about their safety. While Colombia might offer free protection, it's still a dangerous place to visit. Travel Insider even called this trip a free press tour where they won't have to pay anything. Once part of the royal family, they're still getting special treatment, but this journey might be more perilous than it seems. It seems these trips are more for social media influencers and the media than anything else. Another Puerto Rico expert has even advised caution, pointing out that taking pictures of poor children could come across as poverty porn. Unsurprisingly, the couple's rep didn't respond to this. This is important because many Colombians are suddenly outraged, feeling that they're being used as political pawns to distract from government scandals. It's strange how the vice president of Colombia seems to be using people to improve their image. It sounds a lot like what Harry and Meghan do regularly. Meghan's critic hit the nail on the head. The average Colombian earns just $350 per month, which is about $2.15 USD per day. They're struggling with extreme poverty, yet they're supposed to benefit from online safety classes. How can they afford laptops, iPads, phones, or even the internet to access these classes? It's like teaching online safety over tea and crumpets, completely out of touch with their reality. It's amazing how strangers stepped up to raise money for Thomas Markle's medical bills. Meanwhile, Colombian taxpayers are footing the bill for this high cost security. Let's be clear, this massive security detail is likely being paid for by the public. It's unbelievable. They arrived right in the middle of political turmoil, just when the government was accused of using former royals as pawns to cover up corruption allegations. And yet they were given huge protection with a convoy of 14 cars and police vans for what? To visit school children? Why not donate all the money spent on this visit to the schools instead? It's ridiculous. Sure, they're doing some good things, but let's talk about the $72,000 wardrobe. Just think about that $72,000 for 3 outfits. Meghan had to look the part in Colombia, so she made 3 outfit changes. But if this trip is truly about a cause, why does it seem more like a production? It's a trick change clothes, and it looks like you've been there longer than you have. We're moving, so let's change outfits again. We're here too, but it's clear the cameras are making this trip seem longer than it really is. It feels like this whole thing is for Netflix or some other platform serving their own interests rather than genuinely helping anyone in Colombia. The perfectly curated outfits are beautiful, but in a country struggling with poverty and crime, this is just disgusting. It's sickening to think that Meghan had to change into 3 different expensive outfits in such a poor, crime ridden place. Meanwhile, the locals can't even afford their own security. It's heartbreaking to see. I'll keep you updated, but Meghan ended her first day in Colombia with a reminder of her charitable mission. She mentioned how important it is to be aware of cyberbullying as someone you know might be a victim. But to say this to poor Colombian children who are already suffering, it's beyond tone deaf. And where are all these quotes in the Vanity Fair article? They've been conveniently left out, making the trip look far more polished than it actually is. She often talks about how being a mom is her most important job, yet the kids are nowhere to be seen. I don't usually call out the children, but if they're so important, maybe stop talking about them if they're not even present. The kids are never around, so constantly bringing them up seems odd, and now there's talk of Nobel Peace Prize aspirations with RQ. Well, this is getting ridiculous. The school's headmaster welcomed them, and while he's impressive and knowledgeable, the Vanity Fair article about this trip feels like a puff piece. It's disappointing to see it treated as a free press trip without anyone asking the tough questions. Why isn't anyone questioning whether this is a good use of taxpayer money? Why are people just going along with it? Team Sussex is out there praising Meghan, calling her a great duchess, but is this actually useful? Does it really count towards showing up and doing good? Maybe it's time to rethink that slogan. Sometimes just showing up isn't enough, and it could even be harmful. It's possible they're being used, but it seems like they don't care since they're used to using others too, whether it's grieving parents, veterans, or anyone else who can boost their PR and make them appear more royal. But let's not forget you're not royals anymore. You gave that up. The problem is you want to have it both ways, leaving the royal life but still clinging to the perks. So what nation do you represent now? What royal lineage? This is the dilemma that Meghan Markle has run into. It's clear that something is off, and there are so many telling signs. People aren't faking this. The staff is leaving, and too many people have mentioned the same thing: she's difficult to work for, and it's impossible to keep up with her. Her narcissism is overwhelming, leaving everyone in her wake. This trip to Colombia is nothing short of embarrassing and shameful. It feels like they're using people as pawns in their own game. They're gladly serving as pawns to make money, and it's happening right before our eyes. Shame on them. I hope Colombians come together to denounce this visit and encourage them to leave. It's ironic that the biggest bully of them all is out here telling everyone how to protect our kids from cyberbullies. The hypocrisy is staggering, and it's all there for everyone to see. She's a fraud. It's almost unbelievable that they can't see their own hypocrisy. These are some of the most toxic, disgusting people I've ever seen. It's not just a matter of opinion, there's no question about it. She looks terrible, and I'm not saying this as a hater. In fact, I'll admit that her best look was the green outfit she wore during her last appearance as a royal in 2020. Sure, some people said it was poorly tailored, and they're right, but I'm trying to be fair and give her some credit. I also liked the red dress, which H.G. Tudor called the red tomato dress. Yes, it was a bit tight, but again, I'm setting the bar lower for her. And I did appreciate her outfit at the Queen's funeral. The black cape dress and the big hat, those are the standout outfits in 6 years. Everything else, including that poorly fitting, wrinkly wedding gown, looks terrible. Her clothes in Colombia are a new low. It's perplexing why she thinks it's appropriate to wear sundresses and strapless outfits, showing off her bony arms as if she's headed to a BBQ. When she first appeared, it seemed like she was trying to channel Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's minimalist style with clean, tailored lines. But now it's unclear what she's going for. Carolyn Bessette Kennedy would never have been seen in the outfits Meghan wears. It's not minimalist, it's more like she's trying to dress well but clearly doesn't know how. She comes off as a narcissist who refuses to listen to better advice from others. Do you agree with this view? When she was bullying palace staff, she reportedly said something like, "It's not my job to coddle people." I hope the truth about her true character continues to come to light. It seems like she takes pleasure in upsetting people. It's like fuel for her narcissism. Neither she nor Harry are Nobel Prize winners, intellectuals, great authors, famous artists, or self-sacrificing missionaries. They don't have any exceptional talents or roles as working royals, so why are they there? It's worth noting that impersonating a royal officer or representative is a serious offense, and they might be flirting with legal trouble involving the crown. They should consider seeking legal advice. The monarchy also seems to be failing to address their behavior and clarify their role within the UK state. What do you think about these issues? Do you believe Harry and Meghan will face serious consequences for their actions? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.